just like there is some talent on this Giants team. And it seems like at least they got the right coach to, bring it forward, move it forward. And now you see that they're kind of on the doorstep of a playoff appearance, and at least they're playing a meaningful game in week 17. And that's where I want to go next. So it's a perfect transition here talking about this Giants team, because they're going to play the Cowboys in MetLife on Sunday, and it's a meaningful game for them. And, my big thing is, if you would have told Giants fans back in September that you were playing a meaningful game, week 17, I think they'd all be thrilled.
I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I'm so shocked. And the one thing that I think so many people have forgotten, certainly myself, is the best player on our football team in New York, arguably the best football player in New York, has been hurt all season in Saquon Barkley. So when that guy comes back, and if you get a healthy Daniel Jones for a season, complete season, we lost a few, the Giants lost a few clutch games that were needed to win, like the Cardinals game. That Ravens game was tough. I never really thought there was a chance, but you win even one of those games and you almost have the division locked up. But the tougher part is, I've never thought I would ever say this, but let's go Eagles, because if the Eagles don't win, Washington's in. So it's going to be a crazy week 17. The NFC East, of course, highlighting it, but so much other action going on around the league too. It's just such an exciting time.
Yeah, if you were to tell Giants fans that after week 5 you were 0-5, you're going to be competing for a playoff spot in week 17, you'd be like, what are you saying? The turnaround, I think the turnaround just speaks to the job that Joe Judge has done. He's been able to, he kept the locker room in check. We talked about how important coaching is, and he's able to get the guys to play hard for him. And in this division, with how bad it's been, playing hard has pretty much got the Giants where it is. Obviously they have talent on both sides of the ball, but it's not playoff talent. And to be in this situation where a win and an Eagles win, as you said, let's go Eagles. If you're a Giants fan, to make the playoffs, host a playoff game, that's really all you can ask for. And, while it could be 6-10, maybe you're 5-11, you don't make it, I still think there is optimism towards the future. We can talk about whether we think Daniel Jones is the guy, which I think is a really interesting discussion in its own self. But to be this competitive in these games is just a testament to the coaching and the job they've been able to kind of do, flipping it around.
Yeah, for me, there were a lot of games earlier in the season where they were possession away, a few throws away. That Bucs game really stands out to me, where Bucs, a lot of people are talking them as they're going to make some noise in the NFC, and you have the Giants basically taking them to the wire, which I thought was really interesting. And if they would win, the Giants win and the Eagles win, it seems like that would be a matchup in the playoffs, which would, I think, be really interesting. I feel like right now with the Giants, I think it may be more important for them if they're going to get the win. I think that may be the more questionable move. And I feel like they're playing a Cowboys team that looks pretty good. But Nick, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like every time the Cowboys win a few games this season, it's like, oh, we're ready, we them boys, and how about them Cowboys? And then the next week they fall flat on their face.
I don't want to hear any of that we them boys stuff. Listen, sure, they got Dak got hurt, of course. They could have been much, much better, but I still don't think this division would have been theirs this year if Dak were to be healthy, because they have just looked sloppy in so many games, like you said. So I am actually very excited. I'm happy. The Cowboys are my least favorite team in the NFL, so I'm so happy that when this Week 17 games comes, that the Giants beating them means they're done, and then, of course, we still have to wait to see if we get in the playoffs, but, it'll be very – I'm almost like – jittery. I'm so anxious to just get to Sunday and see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I feel like the NFC East is the only division really to always finish on the last game of the season. It always does, I feel.
Always chaos.
Yeah, it's always that Sunday night football game to get them in, and that should definitely be two really interesting matchups. And again, having a team under 500 to make it will be definitely something to talk about as we move into the playoff picture.